It's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
What's up? Welcome back, goddammit, to another edition of Tell Me a Joke, the guideline of chasing the dream. I'm your host of Maniacal, Menace, Kyle Smith. Say the whole thing like a pimp named Slickback. And I have Mrs. Legs Almighty, Sharika. How are you doing?
I think as artists, I think we forget that we have the option, right? So not every gig that's set forward that we have to be involved in. Like, we can easily be like, nah, this whole setup is not for me, like, at all, right? So I don't really look at what folks are charging overhead to get in the building or how many bodies in the building. Like, your operation and your logistical things have nothing to do with me. Whatever you're making off of that has nothing to do with me. What has to do with me, however, is the price I personally set, right? If I'm like, this is what I expect, I don't care if it's 5 people in this bitch or 25 people in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But what my standard is, my standard rate that whomever the promoter or curator agreed to, that is my expectation. That should not change depending on bodies in the building. So I tell poets all the time, like, you can't look at a venue and look at like what's happening at the door and look at, oh, this person is being paid. Like, that has nothing to do with you. Like, really and truly, like, you shouldn't be counting that. You should, before you even get there, you should know that, hey, this is what I'm gonna get paid by the end of the night, and is this what I agreed to, right?
Whoa.
That shouldn't waive. Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way. Like, so how do you know when you should start doing that?
Do you have a price set?
No.
You gotta get a price set.
How do I know how much I'm worth?
That I can't tell you that. You gotta survey your market. Yeah, I mean, I would say find people who you're comfortable confiding in and like trusting, and also folks who have been in the game, who have done this and who do it professionally too, to kind of like get an idea of like, what is the market right now, like locally, regionally, on a national level, and what I should be asking for. Now, some folks may be like, hey, sounds like you want to be in a consultation. I'm like, I got to charge you for the time, right? Some people may. But if it's like the people that you are friends with who are in the business, it's good to have those conversations to kind of see like, okay, what's happening across the board? Like, what is the range? You can always start your price low and then slowly work your way up with the more gigs you get. But I would tell you, like, it just varies, right? So a corporate booking may be different from like a local booking, right? A corporate booking, like, you can set a price, and either they're gonna be like, we can't do that, or they're gonna be like, we can do a little bit less, or they're like, yeah, that's doable, but you never know until you try. Don't lowball yourself. Always start high. Let them take you down.
Right. Just like asking for a raise at a job, which I have done recently. It's like, oh, you ain't worth that. Am I not worth this? Like, I put in the
searching.
time. This is fun to think about. Like, this is I've always tried to get to this aspect of it, and this is what people that don't like. I mean, should have done this because I've been doing this for so long, but I'm such a humble person to where I'm just like, yeah, I'll do your show, regardless of being paid or not, just for the fact that, I get to show my talent somewhere. But at this point in time, like, I got a baby on the way.
Yeah, it's a digital age, friend. You can show your talent on your own platform. Yeah. Like, you can have your talent on social media if you want to get your talent out there in that sense, right? There's other ways to do it, showing up to venues that you haven't seen to tap into a different audience, right? Where it's like, okay, I have free time here, let me go check out like this new spot, right? It doesn't have to be in the same places. So when I look at platform, right, when I look at showcasing my talents, I look at ways, okay, how can I tap into different audiences? Because I know, like, if one specific show is happening, I know like it's gonna be this group of people that I usually see at these other events. But how can I get myself in front of other folks who I've never met, who've never been like introduced to that, right?
Yeah.
That's where research comes in. Like, is there any other things happening in the city that I may not be aware of that I can get myself out there?
Right. Like so, I've been asked to do many shows, and usually I don't go around to ask to be on people's shows. It's just people come ask me to do their show, and so I'm always like, well, out of the goodness of my heart, I can do this
Oh
for
no,
you.
friend. Oh no. You know, the first question I usually ask is like, okay, what is the budget allocated to your talent?
Yeah.
And if somebody's like, oh, well, this should just be a platform opportunity or a chance for you to be on.
Yeah.
I'm good.
all
Thank
right.
you
I
for
got
the
my
opportunity,
platform. Yeah.
but this is what I usually charge for a piece or two, and you know, start setting those boundaries for yourself. And
Yeah.
it's different if it's like an organization that approaches that you're like, this is like really dope and I do want to be a part of it. That's a little bit different. But out the goodness of your heart is not. That don't pay your light bill.
No.
Or your
no.
gas.
I need you to pay me to get out of my house now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to look into this, definitely. I definitely, because I put in a lot of time, a lot of time to say that it feels as if it's gotten nowhere, but it's slowly rising. But you know, doing this on my own. This is talking to people like you is what actually helps me be like, oh, you need to set your foot down and do this, learn how to write up a contract and whatnot. And I definitely don't know how to do that. Like that's one of the things that, you know, that my ex, she was good at that. She would be able to write up contracts and like, this is what it's gonna be, because she was a dancer. So you know,
so she was on that. She's like, hey.
Yeah, this is what it is. If you can't do this, then I can't do nothing for you. And so I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But you know, I don't know what it takes to write up a contract, or what should be in that contract as it's written, how to write up a you know, all that. And that's the things that I don't want to think about, and I want to have somebody else do. But then that's paying somebody else to come into my pockets, and it's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So much.
So I would, you know, it doesn't have to be when we think contract, it doesn't have to be in depth, right? It could be just like agreement on time, date, place, payment.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like this in depth type of thing. Like, I don't want us to like overthink it.
Yeah.
And you know, Google's at our fingertips. Google like quick entertainment contracts or performance
you think I
artists.
can AI a contract?
You probably can. You can AI shit damn near a toe at this point. You can it's fucking anything. You probably could.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I want in the contract, and they will probably draft it. But I mean, even if it's a piece of paper, like, oh, this is my performance time. This is the time we agreed on. The number of pieces, X, Y, Z. It doesn't have to be in depth. Sometimes it's just an invoice. Right. Sometimes it's just like, hey, this is what we're agreeing to. This is a performance date. This is my invoice. That's what we're going to agree upon at the conclusion of this event.
Do things like that need to be notarized or something? Or it's just, this is what it is. If you sign this, then I'm all in it. But if not, then I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a legally binding document. Anything that is like written and signed off on is a legally binding document.
Yeah.
So thankfully, like a lot of like smaller shows and curators, they really don't do that. Some folks do. Some people sign off on. I did a show where it was a simple document. Once again, just name, date, event, time, location, amount agreed upon, and both parties sign it. Like, we acknowledge, like, this is what's happening with this showcase. This is how much you're gonna get paid. So that way they're protected as well. So I, as a performer, don't come back because I see 200, 2,000 people in your building.
Yeah.
I come back, I'm trying to get more money because
Right.
I
This is what
agreed
you
to one
agreed
price,
upon.
but now that I'm watching your pockets,
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I should get paid more. And there's nothing wrong with advocating for yourself, but I always tell people, be fair when you're advocating, right?
Yeah.
be fair. If you didn't think that you were worth that price on the front end, don't try to change it when you see the outcome on the back end. You should stand firm on what like your price is for you and what you think you're worth. Yeah, up front. And there are people that disagree, right? Some people are like, no, like I didn't know there was going to be like that much people pulled in. I want to be paid more, and they have the right to do that. But I would say, me personally, like that should be done on the front end. That should not come as a surprise, because you now see what's going on with this show or this audience or whatever the case is. Now I would say the curator though should be honest about like what bodies are going to be in the space.
Yeah.
Right. As well.
Oh, that is so helpful.
You know, we try, you know. I think when people see me, they're like, okay, this is Togo. She be making jokes and she does poems. And I kind of keep it like that, too.
You got the background to back it up, though.
I do.
Yeah.
But people don't know that. I just be minding my business, friend. I'd be like,
But see, when I came out here, and when I first asked you about what I asked you and everything, and I'm like, she don't do certain things. And I've seen her, and she real good. She real good. When you see her in certain places, it's like, oh, you are the person that everybody is coming to see. So it's just like, I need to know things, you know. I'm like, yeah, I just like. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to stop selling myself so short.
Yeah, you ain't got to be everywhere, friend. And if you go somewhere, you ain't got to perform. You don't.
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, when you see me out, am I performing?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know. It's so crazy.
I don't need to touch every stage. I don't need. Sometimes I just want to be a part of the audience, to be honest. Like I just want to enjoy being in the audience, because 9 times out of 10 I'm either emceeing or like doing a show like I'm booked for. So like when I'm out at like other open mics or just random open mics in the city, like I want to be a part of the audience. If I feel moved, don't get me wrong, if I feel moved, you know, the tequila start hitting, I got some shit I need to get off my chest, and if there's space on the mic, I'll definitely like sign up. I don't mind doing that, but I don't.
Oh, yeah, there's sometimes I just couldn't. I always feel the need to be on stage whenever I go somewhere, just because I'm like, what am I out for? I don't. Nowadays, it's like I don't go out to have a good time. I go out to be the time that people are having, and so I most of the time it's like a release for me, because I'm working all day, and like I don't have the time to be like out most of those times just to be watching something if I'm not accomplishing anything at that time. Because 6 in the morning, I gotta be at work.
Oh yeah, oh man.
You know, and I work in the sun. Like it's underground construction. Yeah, your daddy know about it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't.
Listen.
Waking up, getting 4 hours of sleep, and then having to work in this Texas heat. I don't know what's going on with it.
It's a lot.
Ooh.
It's a lot.
I almost caught heat exhaustion the other day, and I was just like, this ain't a fun feeling. Like that
shit is not good.
That'll put you out for a week.
And so that's what I'm saying. You have to know why you're in the space, right? So 9 times out of 10, I work from home, right? So I be talking to the walls and the white people across my screen. I don't know why I whispered it like they was about to pop out like the fucking candy man.
It's not a lot of them.
If I say white people 3 times, will they appear?
They do pop up.
Oh shit! Let me look around. Oh shit!
One behind. That's it. Yeah.
But you have to know why you're in the space too.
Yeah.
Right. Know why you're in the space. I would say there are other ways to network without being on stage when you're in a spot. Right.
Oh.
Yeah. You got to talk to people. Like sometimes, like people who come out to shows, they might be from different organizations, right? The first time I moved to Texas, someone who I met, they like see me perform. I met him one time in the audience, right? Like I just randomly, I was in DC, just randomly met him in the audience, was talking to him. A young man, I was like just chopping it up. Yeah. Like I was there with my ex-boyfriend at the time, like just having a casual conversation. This man had never seen me perform, right? The second time I went to the venue, like I performed. He was like, wait, you perform? I was like, yeah, like. Yeah. I do poems, like bomb ass personality, but I do poems, right? And so when I got to Texas, that same young man that I met in DC years back, he was there. I
Yeah.
didn't perform that night, but there was the feature that was there runs his own show in a different part of Texas, and he was like, hey man, you got to get her on the show. Mind you, this man ain't never seen me perform. Who he was telling the guy to, like saying like, oh, I've seen her perform in DC, like you got to get on a show. He was like, I trust you as my friend to take your I'm like, yeah, go ahead and let's get you out to perform. So sometimes it is not just getting on stage, it's networking in the audience. Not saying that every conversation you have is going to turn into like currency, but it may put you in contact with someone else.
I've had a lot of those situations to where it's like, man, y'all need to get him up. You performing tonight? Man, I'm going to tell somebody. It's like, what the?
Put your foot down. You gonna tell them to do what? I ain't going up there. They will call my name. I ain't going up there. What? You are nuts. Don't call me. Call Tyrone, bitch. Somebody. I ain't going up there.
Oh, that's good. This is.
Put your hands together for Fortune Chief Akina.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Yo.
Yeah. So it's Chief Ikenna.
Ikenna.
A lot of people where they mess up on is they see the I
Yes.
and they're like, okay, so we gotta put I first. That's always gonna matter. The I. And I tell them no, the I is not what matters. It is instead of saying I, you put an E on the I.
Yeah.
So it's Ikenna.
Ikenna.
Right. So. Chief Ikenna. People call me Chief. People call me Ikenna. And then some just call me the Grits. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. But no. Funny story. That story. So I am actually a prince of a village inside Nigeria.
Oh snap!
Yeah. The Uwogu Sobu village in Nigeria. It's not in Abuja. It's like a little bit past Abuja. But it is great village, very great village, small people. So that's pretty much what it is. My dad is an actual king. My grandpa just passed away. 125 by official U.S. papers. And we're talking about by official U.S. papers because in Nigeria, whenever you try to come from like a foreign country, they take a couple years back for some reason. So he may be actually older than 125. But he passed away at 123. So it was a couple years ago.
Wow.
He passed away. So Chief Ikenna comes. The reason why my name is Ikenna is because Ikenna means God's strength or your father's strength. Ikenna means God's butt or your dad's father's ass. I always tell people I just know in my heart, I almost am positive my dad didn't say, oh my God, this son of mine, he will be my ass. Yes. You will just be the back of me. So I know he's like, he's going to be my strength. So that's where that comes from, definitely.
Nice. Hell yeah. That's dope. That is such a powerful name, man, when you think about it. I really like that. So how do you pronounce your last name?
Owanali. So the N is silent in the name. So it's Owanali.
Yeah. I have from Dallas. She moved down to New Orleans. Ketchy. Ketchy Chukwueze. Did you automatically throw a silent slight in the beginning of
I did.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's different types because you have Nkechi. I heard of Nkechi. I heard of Kelechi.
Yeah.
And so I heard it when you say Ketchy. I heard it just really depends on. It's also just how you say it, right? A lot of people, it's like you don't have to stress. Like I feel like when people say African names, they're like hurting themselves a little bit. Like it's like no, it's literally how you pronounce it. I swear. Like there is no math to it. There is no science behind it. It's literally how you pronounce it, unless like the silent N or the I is the E, right? The small things, but it's how you pronounce it.
That's wild, because usually we just know about silent K's and P's and all that.
Exactly.
And y'all come, you can make an N silent. How you make an N silent? Damn, man, Russia's got the backwards R's and shit. I'm like, how you say that? What that is?
Man,
I don't get it. Is it a letter? I don't know. You throw a pi symbol in there, you fuck me all up.
Man, listen, them Africans, they're different. I even myself, I'm saying, how do you say that? So you X dash apostrophe BCUEO. So right, it's like, do you emphasize it? And they're like, no, like the apostrophe is like a click sound. I'm like, wow. Like the more you know about your own culture, man. Like
actual.
I said, okay. But the thing about it with Nigerians, it's not.
You actually say the apostrophe.
They sometimes say it, but with Nigerians, it's different though. Sometimes the names that the parents be having, it is amazing. The parents, they like to name their child off of what they believe or like what they're going through, right? So I have a friend by the name of, so like my name is Fortune, right? Obviously, Fortune, great fortune, right? I have a friend named Promise, blessing, fame, for all this good stuff, right?
Oh,
and then
my God.
you have the biblical parents who is like, God be holy. You have those who, I know a guy by the name of Blessed Be Assurance. Like in that full sentence, Blessed Be Assurance. So like whenever he's like, oh y'all, let's sing Blessed Be Assurance, I said, man, he's proud because he's like, man, listen, I don't care what y'all say. I got a song made by me by Jesus, hallelujah. So as far as I'm concerned, Blessed Assurance, you know, like he gets happy. He's like, Blessed Assurance. You damn right I am. Right?
Oh,
So
that is funny.
yeah, so that's really what it is, man. So Africans, they're very interesting when it comes to names, man. They just, I don't know. I do not know.
That is really, and there you go. And if you need help writing some stand-up bits, there you go, sir. Put a hash next to that one right there, because
Right.
first of all, it's informative, and secondly,
Man.
that tickled me on the inside. I appreciated that. Oh man, I learned something. Man, that was funny. What?
Educational and hilarious. That's how you do
the good
it.
type of comedy right there. That's the comedy you give to your kids. Like, hell yeah, they got kids in the park and everything. Oh, you need some of this right here. Learn about some culture.
Photo culture. Yeah, you don't know nothing about nothing. I know. No, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing.
Oh, man. Well, I won't keep you too long. So, but Latoya Creates, how are you doing?
Okay, so the title is an artist and a graphic designer, right? Because in the best way that encompasses
That's fun.
a
That's
lot
fun
of
to
things,
say.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, it feels good, you know, rolls off the tongue nicely. You know, so brand design though.
Yeah.
I'm very into brand design. That's my specialty when it comes to graphic design.
Okay.
But fine art, you know?
Yeah.
Painting. I love painting people. Murals. You said how long I've been doing this? Ooh, let's say about, oh man, did I tell the truth or lie? Probably since about 2005 professionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always discouraging when you start to put numbers on things.
Right? It's like, well, what the hell you been doing?
I hate when I look at it. I'm like, ooh, nigga, you should have started this earlier. You almost 40. Then what? And I'm like, oh shit. All right. And I try not to think about that because the depression comes. It just sneaks up on me. It taps me on the shoulder. It's like, hey, nigga.
Hey, you was stupid back then. It's like a little reminder. It's like, why are we talking about this?
Yes, exactly. See, this is perfect for people to listen to because as this is telling me a joke, the guy line of chasing the dream. Basically, we are dream chasers out here chasing the dream, doing whatever it takes for us to make it in our craft. And you know, I've been trying to quit electrical for a very long time. Ever since I started this podcast like 3 years ago, still haven't gotten to a close point to where I'm comfortable enough to be like, all right, fuck this shit.
Right.
Let me just put all my heart into just entertainment. And it is difficult. But for you since 2005, this is...
Well, you know, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was young and dumb at the first studio I owned in Ohio. You know, real stupid. However, I was making it. I don't know. I wonder all the time. You lived in a house, girl? You had a decent life? Why can't you do that right now? It's just not the same.
It's not. It's different. The times have changed. They get harder.
Everything costs, you know. And then inflation
Definitely.
said, "Oh, you thought 2023 was gonna be different? It's different, all right. It's different, all right. Shit just got a little bit harder."
Yeah. It's like a new level got added. It's like I didn't expect this level to be worse.
Right.
Like the last level was pretty difficult. Like what we.
It's a game that never ends.
The more they add, I don't. So how do you keep afloat? Like what makes you keep going?
Oh man,
I'm gonna keep it real. Like, Lord love me. He know I am a fool.
Yeah.
But when I tell you he loved me, because I don't even know, tell you the truth. People ask me all the time. I didn't have a job for 4 years.
Oh.
I have a job now.
Yeah.
And I like it, hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, people answer to other people. I forgot what this felt like.
I don't even know what that's.
I'm like,
I don't
this
know.
is stupid, you know.
I've never not had a job, so I don't.
Yeah, it's rough for me right now.
Ah.
4 years of just, like you said, hustling. I was
Yeah.
painting shoes, doing murals, t-shirts, custom products.
Okay, so what was the worst? What was the worst thing that you did that you was like, I can do without this?
Oh man, I had some paper mache.
Oh.
Check it out. Memorial High School.
Yeah.
They wanted to do a dance, and you know, they love our stuff. Let me just say
Right.
You know, and then they said, I want a Travis Scott hit. This is me. Like, what? They like, we want Travis Scott to go over a gazebo. A gazebo. Hold on. We want it gold. And we want to take pictures of it.
How old are these children? What do we do?
High school. They said we're gonna rent a venue and we love Travis Scott. I said, yeah.
That
They
much
said,
that we need to-
yeah. So I paper mache this giant 3D wannabe Travis Scott head, and it's just like stuck it on the archway of the gazebo and wrapped that thing in some gold fabric or curtain looking thing. I kid you not, it was like the craziest. Like, but hey, they were excited.
Yeah,
you know,
okay, so they was feeling it. They was like,
man.
fuck it, yeah, this is
They
what
was
we
like,
want.
this is the best.
Exactly.
I'm like, we're not posting this on social media. You know, not everything you do you can post. People don't need to know that you did that to
That
make
you
money.
did a giant
I'm not
Travis
gonna
Scott
I'm not gonna take credit for that. But they were happy. They were happy. That's all that matters. I got paid.
Oh my
you know,
God.
and it's a go.
Look, well, how do you find jobs?
Ooh, I find jobs. So Facebook and all that's not really. I mean, every now and then it does it for
Yeah.
me, but you know, people tell me to do that. It doesn't work that well. So what I did was I joined the Chamber of Commerce.
Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I was a part of the Metropolitan, but it closed during COVID. So I'm gonna find me another one. But you access a lot of different business owners. You might meet somebody, like a woman who owned a Jewish newspaper here in Houston. You know?
Yeah.
Then it's a couple banks that travel to Houston. You get invited to their private grand opening parties. You be around some
Holy
serious
shit.
money. Yeah, I went to one opening. Not only was I the only black person there, only black woman, black person, youngest person there, surrounded by money. The only other black person there was a bartender. We locked eyes. We like,
yeah. We need this connection. We're gonna make sure we got the universal
Hey.
head nod. Pop, pop.
you know
yes.
what I'm saying? Make
we
sure
on
I'm
the
all right
same
in here.
accord,
Make sure
right?
I'm all right in here. I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to make it.
Oh shit.
Earphones gonna keep up behind you, dude.
Okay. How did that feel as you were there? Like what how long were you there for, and what was actually going on? Like,
The bank decided they were just coming to Houston. They opened up 3 locations. They had a
Okay.
big old party full of people, clearly with a lot more money than me.
Yeah.
Hell, they had valet pulling up
Oh,
into the
shit.
bank. Like, we got a valet at the bank? This is after hours. We knew. It's valet. It's valet.
That's amazing.
Live band, open bar.
oh,
Like, the food was lavish. They just in there kicking it. Yay, bank came to Houston. I said, that's what we do. I was in there for about 30, 40 minutes, because you be in there and you like, really, what you really want to do, turn right on back around. Like, oh shit, I ain't supposed to be in here.
I'm not
But I said,
supposed
nah,
to.
y'all ain't about to run me off. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like pumping myself up. Business owner in here, about to get some money. You know, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say hi and talk to the chicks. That's what the ones that look as young as me and they all need a
Yeah.
black friend. I'm gonna go talk to them.
Yeah. There you go. That's exactly how you get in.
Heck yeah.
You need me, right? I feel a quota.
Right.
Okay,
feel
I
that
got you. I
need
do
me.
shit.
Hi, I will be the token in here.
I love
Need that
it.
token money.
You know when your expertise is needed, when you're like, you need this fair skin color.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here for you.
Yeah, down in New Orleans, I was a token. For a few people. People was like, nah, I can't do this. You want to do it? Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah,
I'll be
I
there.
do.
I'll be Mojo Jojo if you need me.
Sure will.
Shit, I got it.
Yeah.
I really. the mysterious one himself, Rebel. What's up, Rebel? How's it going, man?
I'm a father.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my number one thing.
Number one.
That's number one thing is I'm a father. Because if I'm not a father, if I don't solve my purpose as a father, nothing else is ever going to, the poetry and stuff is just never going to happen.
Right.
So my purpose is Thomas.
Yes.
And so everything else afterwards is just the product of being a good father.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I don't assume that I'm going to be a bad parent or anything, but I don't have kids yet. And I always wonder, like, how things are going to go about once I do have a child. Like, it scares me. Like, when you were becoming fatherhood, when that was coming about, was it frightening?
No.
No, you were prepared.
No, dude, because and this, with my son, it was a life or death for me.
Yeah.
So I got so deep in my lifestyle that I couldn't change and I couldn't shake the name I had made for myself.
Yeah.
And I had a buddy of mine that we was like, what would you say, like gas in the matches, right? 2 peas in a pod, we tore shit up together, right?
Yeah.
Just alike. And I seen this dude have a kid and completely just
Change his life.
yeah. And so this is my brother, and then so I violated my probation, and I got tired of living the way I was living. I said, man, it's time to have a kid, so I have a kid.
Yeah, just like that.
Just
Just like fuck
that.
it.
Yeah.
This is gonna change the way I live at this moment.
And guess what happened?
Boom. Drop the baby.
I flipped everything off like a light switch. I ain't been in trouble since.
Come on.
He's 15.
That was like a sobriety pack
I
right
was
there.
just like, yeah, but see, this is the thing, man. And it took me many years to put this together that I had to find something to love outside of myself.
Yeah.
That's why it was just like, I was never worth the love that I cared about anything would happen to me. I had to care about something outside of myself.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I discovered that like 5 years ago.
Fresh to it.
Yeah.
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 Ah, I've never looked at it as like that before. I've never had it in that perspective. Probably because I don't have kids yet, but I haven't thought deep into it just because like I'm still trying to become something, chase a dream and everything, and it's just like do you feel as if, I mean it doesn't seem as if it is, but I've always thought as like once kids came, things slowed down, and that was your hindrance. That was a hindrance to people, why people didn't continue on their journey. Like, does it seem like that to you? I see you with those so.
It's a balance.
Yeah,
There's a balance to it. There's a balance. It's about how many kids you have. Like I got one kid, so I'm able to do more. So I would imagine if somebody with more would probably be able to do a little bit less than me.
Huh.
But I didn't have a whole bunch of kids because I didn't want to be, you know what I mean? I still wanted to be a little bit mobile.
Right.
So I said just one and done.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then but he's the drive behind the passion to do a lot what I do.
I always assumed that the drive would kick up more once I had kids, just because I'm like, now I'm striving to be better for not just me, not just my wife, but also this next generation here.
And this is the thing with me, it's like you got to lead by example when you deal with kids. When you're raising a kid, you can't say it. You got to say it and do it.
Yeah. Huh.
And that's it. So he's holding me accountable because if I'm preaching it, I got to do it.
Right.
And so I can't just and so it's making me become a better person because I want him to be the best man that he can be.
Yeah.
And so I got to lead by example.
Put y'all hands together for Poetic Journey.
Yeah. The journey, so I'll tell you about my name in a second, but the way that I come into like the description and the way I write my poetry, it comes from the heart, but really what it is because I experienced something and I can't get it out of my head. So if something keeps going, like if, my mom used to write poetry too, but she said that she stopped because she was like, I didn't like what I saw. You know, poetry makes you see what's really inside of you, you know, what you really feel, what you really think. And she said, I didn't want to see myself on paper. Oh. Yeah. So she ran from that. But she told me, she was like, don't run from it, embrace it. And she told me poetry is when your heart speaks. You just have to listen. Oh. And so like, if there was something inside of me, like sometimes, you know how you just hear like a word or one phrase, you know, or something, you know, like, with a masterpiece, I just kept hearing like, you are like art to me. Yeah. And it was something that somebody said, and I was like, damn, that's deep. Like, I'm art. Stuck with you. Yeah. And I kept going with it. And I was like, why don't I look at myself like art? Mm-hmm. And so that poem was me trying to like see myself as art, you know, and then I'm like, and I got to see all these other women as art. And why don't, you know, and those questions. Now, the questions that I ask myself come from being a therapist, but the journey is actually because like I'm experiencing a memory, or I had an experience, and I'm like, let me take you on what I felt. Yeah. And I'm going to show you how I got to this deep conclusion of something. Because, you know, every poem has like some greater meaning, like a lesson, mine do. Yeah. And that's how that came about. Now, my name, Poetic Journey, came from an experience I have yet to write about. I don't know how to write about. You know, I just feel like, you know, whenever God give it to me, I'll get there. But it came from that experience. And I prayed one day and I said, you know what, God, this may be a hard life, but it's a good life. And I am sorry if I'm not loving it enough. And, you know, I'm going to just ride this journey with you. And then I thought about it like, man, it's kind of a good journey like this. Yeah. It's, you know, it's kind of poetic. Yeah. Yeah, you know. Yeah, like it's a beautiful journey, a poetic journey. And there it is.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. That's dope. I like that.
Yeah.
What are the questions you ask yourself to?
For like poems?
Yeah.
So it just depends. So like a masterpiece, you know, I heard you are like art to me. And I was like, damn, like, am I like art? What is art? You know? And then I'm like, I could be art. And I'm like, dang, why have you never thought of yourself as art? You know, like I think of myself as valuable. Yeah. But I've never thought of myself as like art. And I thought about it like, dang, like art is valuable. Art is so valuable that like Jay-Z could never make a record, and all the art pieces he owned, he could sell, and his children's children will still be very, very rich because that's how valuable it is. You know, he's got art pieces that is priceless, you know? And so I was like, dang, you know, so I don't know. It's in therapy, we call it Socratic thinking, Socratic questioning. So it's not questions to get you to just answer. It's questions to get you to think about why you would answer a certain way. Oh. Yeah. So like
that's like opening another door. Like, oh, you thought this was just it? No. Did you look to see what was on the other side of the wall? You're like, no. There's more doors, nigga. It's like, oh,
like 5 other doors back here.
There's so many different ways to do this. Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's kind of like, you know, and it's sad, but I do it to my son a lot. You know,
yeah, but he's gonna, but see, he's gonna grow up to be right. Like,
hope so.
Well, either that or just
that's the plan.
Be able to get through life with deductive reasoning and not, you know, be able to surpass other people that don't think like he would.
Yeah, but I mean, even so. You know, and I'm still, you know, I could be a therapist, but I still have a lot of questions about a lot of things. But like Socratic thinking, Socratic questioning. So like, we went to the aquarium. Mm-hmm. He was jumping up and down the little step part to help them see into the tanks. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, don't be playing on that. You're going to fall, you know. And I kept saying it every time we went to the next, you know, tank and stuff. And he just kept jumping on it. And I was like, you're going to fall. You're going to hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. After a while, I said, you know what? Look, you fall, you're on your own. I already told you, you're going to bump your head. That's you. You know? Yeah. So sure enough, after I stopped saying it, he fell. Yeah. And so he's crying and, you know, stuff like that. And like, I had to start giving him Socratic questions. So I had to say, why are you crying? And he's like, oh, cause yeah, you're mean. You know, he's just giving me all these different answers. And I'm like, no. And I let him answer. I'm like, hey, no, you're crying because you fell. You're crying because, you know, you fell. He's like, I did fall. And I'm like, yeah, you did. I saw you. You forgot about that part. You think about all that other stuff that happened afterwards, you know? He's like, you didn't hug me. You yelled at me. I said, all I did was I told you, you know? And so he's like, no, I was like, no, you're crying because you fell. And he's like, I did fall. I was like, yeah, you did. Did you hurt yourself? He's like, my knee is broken. And I'm like, oh yeah, but you just walked in here, so like I think it's working, you know. He's like, but it hurts, and I was like, oh, okay. Do you want me to kiss it to make it better? He's like, yes. And so I kissed it, and he's still sad. And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why are you still sad? And he's like, I'm ready to go home. I was like, well, why you want to go home? Because you're mean. And he starts going through the list of stuff afterwards. I was like, no. I was like, you're ready to go home because you're upset. I was like, you fell. You hurt yourself, and mommy didn't run to help you like I said I was going to. But I told you I wasn't going to. You know, I warned you. I said, but you fell, you hurt yourself, you cried, you had a moment, but now it's over. You know, like, we don't have to go home just because you hurt yourself. You know, we can still have fun. Were you having fun before you hurt yourself? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you did. We can have more fun, you know, like that. It was a moment. But it's done, you know, like, let's go have some more fun. He's like, no, I don't want to. I was like, well, how about we take a break and then we go back and have more fun? You know, like, you want to take a snack break? You want to relax for a second? Yeah. I'm like, okay. But the point of the story was the Socratic thing, like, even the Socratic questions is like, it's not to give you deductive reasoning, because even though he had a reason to cry, he fell. Right. You know, like, I don't want you to be like, I got a reason to cry, I'm not going to cry. You know, like, I want you to still feel it. I want you to have your moment. I want you to go through that whole process. But the most important part of the Socratic thinking and the Socratic questioning is, after you went through all those moments, don't let that one moment stop you from going forward. Because there's still a whole aquarium that you haven't seen. We still got 2 more floors to go up, you know? Oh, shit. Yeah.
You know how I applied this to my comedy life and just life in general as an entertainer?
Yeah?
Yeah.
How?
Like, just because, like, you know, I'm feeling shitty because, you know, I'm not doing like I used to. Like,
what?
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to.
But I thought it would always be fun, you know, but sometimes you need to take a snack break. And
okay, wait. So are you not doing like you used to, or you're not feeling like you used to?
No, I'm not doing like, well, back then, basically I was out every week, every day of the week, basically doing like, but I understand it's not going to be that anymore. But, okay, so I guess I'm not feeling like I used to. I'm not feeling the feels that I used to feel when I would go out and do comedy. Like, it feels different now. It doesn't feel as fun. It feels like, you know, I probably need a break, or, you know, it's okay that I stumbled upon, you know, whatever I've been doing, and just like you were saying, like, hey, there's still more aquarium, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, you don't have to go home now, because there's so many times that I was like, man, fuck this aquarium. I want to go home. I don't want to do this no more. You see? In my head, that's why I'm like, man, fuck this aquarium. I'm going home. Yeah. I ain't got to be here no more. Yeah. Like, this ain't.
But this is I'm so glad I told that story, because this is perfect. Like, I'm finna therapy you a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Don't be scared. So when you started doing comedy, what was your reason for doing it?
Somebody told me I was funny.
So you was just doing it for the hell of it, right?
Yeah.
So you was doing it to have fun.
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it. And it felt fun.
Yeah.
But now you're doing it now because you know you're good at it. Yeah. You know you're funny. You know that you can do more. So now you're taking it seriously, right?
Yes.
So now you're doing it from a place of seriousness. So why are you surprised that it feels serious?
Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised, but yeah, I just don't. The feeling that comes with it now, I didn't expect this to be carried over from, you know.
Well, it's because now you're expecting an outcome. Before you were doing it just to do it, and now you're doing it and you're like, I'm putting something into this so I can get something out of it.
Yeah.
And so now you're serious if there are not outcomes that you expected.
Ugh. I can't say anything about that. That is so true. Oh my God. There's nothing to rebuttal against that. Nothing. That is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have in my head. I just couldn't put it into words. And it's like,
shit.
Oh, fuck. All right. Yeah.
But think about this. So it's the same thing. My son doesn't know what an aquarium is. He's 3, you know? I said, hey, let's go. It's going to be fun. He's like, it's going to be fun. I'm like, yeah, we're going to see a bunch of animals and fish. You know, he's like, okay. And so he goes and he's having fun until he's not.
Yeah.
You know? So he stumbles a little bit, right? You say you stumble. Yeah. Something happened.
Yeah.
And then he's like, this don't feel fun no more.
This don't feel fun no more.
And you said I had to take a break. You know, you said that, right?
Yeah.
So me and him took a break. He had some popcorn. We looked at the skyline and stuff of the city. You know, like just leisurely hanging out. And then I'm like, hey, you ready to go back? But now he's doing it with a purpose. He's doing it now to get through it because he knows there's more floors and more levels he's got to go. There's more stuff he's got to see. There's more fish and more attractions and more interactions that he has to deal with. There's more things for him to, you know, actually touch and feel and do. He knows now that there is a purpose for him being here, and it's going to be fun, but there's a purpose for him being here.
This hurts my head how much this applies right now.
I know.
Oh my God. That is really good because that is exactly what I'm looking forward to. I'm like, man, I seen the big tank up on the second floor. I know what it looks like. I just couldn't touch it. The first time I seen it, I was behind the ropes and they wouldn't let me in. But I know at some point in time, if I can get on staff, I can go behind the scenes and see what the hell going on. And it doesn't take much. I just got to keep going.
But you know, I'll say this: there's parts of the upper levels that you see and that you have not seen. And like you said, if I could just get there and I could just touch it, right? That's what you said. I'm so glad I told that story.
So good.
We're gonna get into real therapy.
Yeah. Ukulele sensation himself, Thomas Goddamn Jones.
My friend had a ukulele, and we played in the band together.
Yeah.
So he would just always have it, and when we would like hang out after, like I would like bang around on it, and I was like, you know what, I'm actually gonna try and learn this thing.
What was your instrument before the ukulele?
So before I played ukulele, I played bass. Before I played bass,
Oh, you play bass?
yeah, I have 2 basses. I have an electric bass and an acoustic electric bass.
Oh, you're token. I love it. Too bad we don't have basements.
Oh man.
That's dope.
Before I was playing bass, I played trumpet, trombone, and tuba.
Okay.
I played in my middle school and in high school band.
Yeah.
And after that, so in band in school, I played tuba and trumpet. And then I played for like a couple ska bands because ska was like really cool when I was in high school. Yeah, ska.
Ska.
Yeah.
What?
Ska.
Ska.
You know, like
SKA?
Yeah, SKA.
What is that?
So it's if you've ever watched a movie in the 90s where there was a skateboard scene,
Yes.
yeah, they were probably playing ska.
Oh.
It's like dun 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 dun, dun, and then like the horns.
Yeah. Okay. That's very specific. I like that. Okay. Okay, continue.
And I played in a couple ska bands, and like I found like a bunch of people played trumpet or saxophone.
Yeah.
But there were only like 2 guys in the scene that played trombone, so I taught myself trombone so I could play for more bands.
Right. Taught yourself trombone.
It's once you learn how to like do your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, cause the real instrument on a trumpet, on a brass bell instrument.
Yeah.
The real instrument is the mouthpiece. Because yeah. Because you can play the whole thing without, you know, touching a button. You should be able to play all the notes. And what the valves do are they just manipulate it so it's just easier.
Yeah.
But you can get through a whole scale without pressing a button.
That's amazing to know.
So once you kind of learn how to work your mouth in a bigger mouthpiece,
Yeah.
and then you start kind of feeling around you know, with the trombone.
Yeah.
Like I can't read music at all. Can't read music at all. But I can hear something and I can match sounds and I can be like, okay, that sounds cool. All right, that matches. Okay, that's an octave. Okay, yeah, I can figure it out.
Yeah. Wait. So you were just playing on repetition?
Yeah, just kind of listening and then just kind of matching sounds and vibrations and then being like, okay, so when they start doing this stuff, I need to be here.
Yeah.
And I faked my way into like several bands.
Holy shit. That is amazing. You're a real fucking drumline happening right here. Oh my god. Yeah. That's like, I know, well, my brother could do something like that. He could just pick things. So every time you were playing the ukulele, you would just, there's no notes that you just know.
No, I've actually like sat down and like tried to learn. Like, okay, these are the notes, these are the chords, these are the progressions.
Okay.
Trombone was the only thing I was like, fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Oh, so you do read music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat.
That's amazing. So all right. So it went from trumpet to trombone, and then you slid. So you just started. Meaning you just started banging around. Meaning you just started playing, and then what made that stick? What made that be like nobody really does this?
No, it's just fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And when you learn. When like a lot of people like if you learn how to play guitar, a lot of people will shit on people that they call it the 4-chord song.
Yeah.
That's C, G, A minor, F.
Yeah.
Because number one, those are like the easiest chords to play, and you know, it's very recognizable. So like a bunch of different songs use those 4 chords, and a lot of people shit on people that use those 4 chords for stuff. Hey, Noel. They're being good. So like they shit on a lot of people. Oh, it's like these 4-chord songs. I guess we're listening to like fucking Train or Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But the thing is, like, that acclimates you to like switching, and like it's the basics of like these are some of the positions that your fingers are going to be in. If you can do these, then you can figure the rest out.
Because you play bass.
Yes. Well, bass is a whole nother monster.
Is it? That's why it's difficult for me to pick up. Just trying to teach myself.
So bass, I wouldn't say bass is like difficult to pick up. What you just need to think about is bass. You're the bottom. So the hardest part about playing bass is keeping rhythm.
Yeah.
It's keeping in time. And then realizing, oh, I can pull a bunch of bullshit in between beats.
Okay.
And once you learn timing, and so I learned this from watching Victor Wooten. Do you know who that is?
No.
Victor Wooten is, I would say, most people would say, probably the best bass player to ever live on this earth.
Oh.
And he gives these lessons, and in a lot of the lessons, he's like, if you play the wrong note, don't worry. If it's in time, you can build back up to your root note.
Yeah.
So once you realize that playing raw notes doesn't matter, you'll just learn the board, and then you can just do whatever you want. As long as you're in rhythm.
It's like, see, I can get the rhythm part down. It's just these tiny fingers don't want to go where they're supposed to go when they need to go. Like I've actually started trying to learn like bridge and in chords and such, but trying to get to where I need to go, they're not trained yet.
It's just practice, and it's just doing a lot of finger stretches and try and get them. You know,
what's a quick way to learn when you're trying to pick up like an instrument? Is it learning one set chord progression, or trying to learn like the beginning of a song?
So I would say for stuff like for like ukulele and guitar, I would say learn a song, because what that does is, like, let's say you learn I'm Yours, so that's C, G, A minor, F. You know 4 chords now. Now learn a new song. Oh, this new song that I'm learning. They use an A minor and a G. I already know how to do those.
Yeah.
Now you just need to learn how to do 2 more chords. Then now you know 6 chords. Trying to do math in my head.
Yeah.
And it's just like the more songs you kind of learn, and then like you'll go to like sites like Ultimate Guitar Tab, and then I would say always go to Simplify.
Yeah.
Go to the easiest chords that you can figure out. And then by, learning different songs, you're learning more chords. Now, like, you know what stuff sounds like. Now you know which chords tend to go together in certain songs.
Yeah.
And then you'll kind of learn why those notes go together in certain songs.
Kind of like picking up another language.
Yes. You start kind of learning the language. You start learning music theory. The worst thing ever.
Science. You said... I was gonna say Rock Band, but like not Rock Band, like Guitar Hero, the one that actually shows you the simulator.
Rocksmith.
Yeah, do the simulators actually help with learning, like the ones that you can play on like the PlayStation and such?
Yeah, kind of. It really does like show you like straight up, this is the note that you're gonna play at this point in time.
Yeah.
And what it's good for, it's like that whole exercise of not having to look at your hand to see where you are on the board. And it kind of helps like looking forward and seeing, first fret, first string, third fret, fourth string, and just kind of knowing, okay, this is the space they should be about, because that's what I can judge from the TV.
Yeah.
And then kind of
like
getting
a
into
visual.
that. Yeah, it's
That's
very visual without having to peek over at your hands.
That's so. I've tried to get into that, but I've never. Well, I was like, I don't know how well this would do if I do get it for the PlayStation. But then it'd just be sitting there, and then I have to get the whole other system and get it. I'm like, I want to learn bass in my own little time. Just be like, I picked up bass and I learned it, but it like there's too much. Like I start getting deeper into the like actual music theory and shit,
Right.
and it's like, wait, no, this is a lot. This is a lot.
You're
This
like,
is more
try
than what I want. Yeah,
Try it.
It's like I just want to play and look smooth, but when you get in there, it's just like, oh, okay. Like I don't want to read this much. Yeah, this is hurting me. So,
Look up some Victor Wooten
yeah,
and like kind of listen through his talks and see some of the exercises he does, and it really does help.
yeah.
You'll really like start seeing the difference in both like your performance and like your attitude when you go to like playing.
Going down the rabbit hole, I ran into slap bass, and so I ran into a lot of Flea playing just his way of playing the bass, and I'm like, this is a whole nother level right here.
Ooh,
yeah,
right.
but him himself is talented as well, and it's just like what you don't expect it just by looking. But nobody ever expects anything now. So it's just like that's amazing to see how he goes about doing it. And I'm like, I think his hand's about as big as mine as well. So I'm like, okay, it gives me confidence. It gives me so much confidence. But I do like if I had to choose who I would like to play like, if there was a character and this is a game, and I'm like, choose your bass character, and I think I would go with Fleet. My style that I would want to choose would probably be Fleet, but I haven't seen Victor Wooten yet. Okay. I know it's probably nothing like that, but it's just that does he play extravagant basses as well, like 6 string and 7 string?
Yeah, he can play whatever he wants. There's one video that
of course,
it's absolutely amazing. One of my favorite Victor Wooten videos. He's doing a solo at a show, at a big show, and during the solo, his string pops.
Oh.
So what he does is like he starts like noodling down here, and he tunes his next string to be his E. And as he's doing that, like he's like still like hitting it.
Whoa.
And like as he's hitting it, like as he's tuning it, it's like still in tune with his bottom notes, but he's getting it back to E, and it's hard to like explain the ear and the talent that takes.
Yeah.
To be able to.
Where he did that at a concert?
Yes,
like with
during
other...
the show. Yeah, so like drums are still going off. I think like guitar backs off because they realize like he's fucking around and he's like trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
But he's absolutely killing it. He's one of the best to ever do it.
How do you ever lose the ear? Like once you because you yourself pick up notes and just play. I mean, what you done with a trombone, like you're capable of doing that. Do you think that at some point in time,
it's mailman?
Yeah, I love him though.
Yeah, they all hate
Do
you? No, you kind of keep it forever. You'll start like listening to stuff, and what happens to me a lot, like I'll be listening to songs, just like being whatever, and I'll be like, I could play that, and then like I'll stop doing whatever I'm doing, and like I'll start picking up the ukulele, and I'll start like banging around.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I figured it out, and then I'll never do anything with it.
My mom does that. My mom, she replicates a lot of other songs and such. She plays the keyboard and everything. So, she plays piano, and yeah. So, like for her to do that, which it kind of trickled down to my brother. I was kind of sort of in something like that, but then I never continued the process of playing an instrument. But now it's like, yeah, I want to.
The urge is there.
Yeah. That's I'll just like learning a new language. I just want to be that faceted now that like it's another realm in my brain that I know I would have that not everybody has, like playing chess.
Oh yeah, it's a different muscle that you get to flex.
Yeah.
It's something that I need to keep. I need to start working more. All I've been doing is just watching anime and playing video games.
That's amazing though. What games are you on?
So Baldur's Gate 3 dropped last week, and
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Okay, tell me more. I'm really humbled to be over here. Grady Pruitt.
This person doesn't know. And I've had similar things, and will be crazy. I don't remember the person, and I don't remember the joke. I'm like,
I never remember the joke.
I'm like, I said that shit.
Yeah. We're like, you got a good memory. Thank you.
I'm like, I mean, but then you're like, well, that sounds like something I would say.
Yeah. Thank you for following along. I guess
like I think I said that like once 6 years ago.
Yeah, and it just never came back up. I didn't add no tags to it. It just felt good saying it at the time.
Yeah.
So now I'm coming around.
That's pretty damn funny. Maybe we should bring it back.
Yeah. I've been in this game for like 11, almost 12 years now. So it's just like, all right, there's lessons that I've learned along the way too. Because in the beginning, I would never repeat a joke, which is terrible.
Oh yeah.
It's like, no, I mean, this is good. It's got gold on it. Just add some more fucking chunks to it, And I'm like, okay, and
because there's a thing like I kind of have something where it's like you feel like you're a fraud if you're repeating material. Like you're like, I already said this before. I shouldn't say it again. But then I'll be honest, like there's bits of mine that I've been working on for like years at this point, and from what I first said them to now, they're so much better, and everything like that. And so, like, because I thought the same thing when I first started watching stand up. I thought that person just completely improvised,
and it does feel that way every time you see it.
And that's kind of the trick of stand up, or one of the tricks. There's a lot of tricks to stand up, but one of the things is like there was a tremendous amount of work put into this, and you're presenting it like
this is our first conversation.
Yeah, this is I just happened to do this. You know what I mean? But really, underneath, you're like, I fucking
Finally, I got it out to where people can relate and people understand that. It seems like just a normal conversation that I had. Like I just came up off the street and I just felt like telling y'all some shit for an hour. You know? And so it's a whole thing because I've actually put out a special a long time ago, and I didn't put it out. I recorded one. I recorded one back in New Orleans. That's where I'm from. That's where my start happened. You know, and so be wanting to chase this dream. Basically, that's why.
A tough place to start.
Well, it is. It is very much so a tough place to start. But I always suggest that if you want a community to actually start doing comedy, that is a place to go. Just because like there's no comedy clubs down there. I mean, there is one, but we don't speak of that one. But there's a comedy club down there now. Funny. And back then, like we didn't have shit. Yeah. So to be able to go do comedy at places, we're fucking going to bars, going to places where it's like, man, we just try to fucking watch the game, and it's like, well, hold on, let me tell you this dick joke real quick. And you know, people aren't there, but if you can grab them, you're good. So it is a challenge every time, but the community down there is just so helpful and so knit tight that like it is a good place to grow and start, and everything's small. You know, like fucking clubs are like 5 minutes away. You can walk to them, you can fucking Uber to them.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah, it's very close. Like compared to other places, like big places like LA and here, like, you know, the clubs are very near and far, so it's just like
that's the difficult thing about Houston is like it's so spacious to get anywhere. You know, you're like, wait, this is 45 minutes away. Right.
I'm not gonna make this set if I try to go ahead and go to this place next.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason I was saying New Orleans is tough, and like Miami is like this, a couple other places where it's like there's such fun cities, and there's like it's such a party atmosphere and having fun that like just in general to ask people who live in New Orleans or people that live in Miami, like, do you want to come and sit down and be quiet for an hour and a half and listen to other people talk?
And they're like, no.
They're like, you know, I'm about to do blow and have sex with one of the hottest women.
That is the story of my life. It's a great scene, but it's like, usually you would get like that. If you do well, it is. That was terrible, yo.
Very many times, like, driven home in front of however many people. I could have just stayed home and hung out with a friend. Like it just
and he would have laughed at these jokes harder than you guys did.
Yeah. But there's something about the ups and downs of it because the highs are so high.
So high.
That it is worth it to experience the lows. And I've learned over my time to not allow the bad experiences to like keep you low. Like don't wallow in it for a long time. Like I usually give myself, now I'm at the point I try to keep it down to 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes it goes beyond that of like being upset about it. Yeah. And then like, all right, that's a good way of dealing with it. You gotta move on. You know what I mean? Like get all the shit out and then you're like,
that is a good way of thinking about it, because sometimes I let shit beat me down way too much, and then like I'm thinking about it for weeks. I've been put in situations to where I was like, I should probably stop relishing on the fact that was terrible, because I got better shit coming up. You know, I've accomplished things, I've done shit, but now it's just like but that one guy that just wouldn't smile or anything. You know, I always worry about that. But out of all the people in the audience, you always worry about that one person that you just can't get through to. And it's like, why? Why is that? You know, why do I worry about this so much? But as a comic mind for you, I'm assuming we all go through that shit, and it's like, I didn't get all of y'all. I want 100%, but it's never gonna be 100%.
No, and usually it's almost never going to be 100%. And let's be honest, if it is 100%, you're probably not saying anything real up there. You're probably being a pandering hack. You know what I mean? Like, because usually, if you're actually saying some real funny stuff, I think Patrice O'Neal said it once, is like, comedy is like 50% of the crowd cracking up laughing, and 50% of the crowd horrified.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I think the percentage
Girl
should
Patrice.
be more like 80 to 90% people laughing.
Yeah.
And about 10 to 20% people just like absolutely horrified. But depending on the show, the percentages change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who got you, or who was, I guess, like the first comedian that you saw that actually got you into comedy?
So, I mean, I remember as a kid, like a little kid, watching watching the Blue Collar Comedy Tour and watching that. I mean, Ron White was my favorite. Still is I love Ron White. I watching that, and then I remember a little beyond that, seeing Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? Yeah. I started watching it's Killing Him Softly, and there was another.
So good.
There was one of the what was the second special he had in the early 2000s? It was Killing Him Softly, and there's two of them, but I watched
Skinny Chappelle.
Yeah, I watched those on repeat, and then when I was in high school. Also in middle school, Dane Cook.
Yes,
Dane Cook was huge, and I watched a lot of Dane Cook on YouTube, like the Kool-Aid Man bit and the BK Lounge bit. I was just like, this is like the funniest thing ever.
That is my start right there. He is the guy that opened my eyes to what comedy was. Like, I've always known comedy. I've always oh, this is cool. But until Dane came around with the MySpace era and shit, that was when things really dawned on me. And that's when I got touched by the comedy God fairy, and I was like, oh, this, all right, maybe I should give this a shot. You know, thinking that because this is a person that I've watched, maybe I could be sort of like him. That's why I'm very descriptive, and I like to definitely over exaggerate on the bits that I do have or anything like that. And just because that's what I saw when I was growing up. But now you hear about all of the allegations and shit, and you got YouTube documentaries on the fall off of this comedian. It's
there's a lot of them.
Damn it, and I'm like, God, y'all put in some research to do this shit. Which is, I didn't know most of it, but now that I'm like, but he's my guy, should I continue with? I'm gonna continue saying that was my guy, because I mean, he's the one that actually shined the light on what the fuck was funny to me.
There's a lot of comics that are influences of mine that you find out did horrific shit or whatever, and you're like, well, I can't change what I mean, comedy, but I'm also what I mean. And so I try to keep my kind, and you just
lately that are actually really good at what they're doing are more thoughtful and more concerned about their image when it comes to actually being a comedian now, because there's just so much shit happening, and then everybody sees everything now because of the fucking internet. So it's just like, all right, I don't want to be betrayed like this, I don't want to get Carlos Mencia or anything like that. So let's,
and let's be honest. Also, most people who are really good at an art form, and I don't like calling comedy art because it sounds so pretentious, but what do you want to talk about? Comedians, musicians, writers, directors, authors, whatever it is, usually the best ones, the ones who are really good at, they're fucked up in some way. You know what I mean? They're usually, and fucked up can mean a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Whether they're perverts, whether they have drug problems, alcohol problems, you know what I mean? Whether they're mean or just you know what I mean? Whatever it is, being fucked up can mean a lot of different things. Whether they have whatever, it can be a lot of different things, but most of them, if you really learn about them, you're like, oh yeah, this person's crazy flawed.
Especially when you hear about their backgrounds and how they grew up and shit. And it's oh, you had a fucked up childhood. Hence why you're this way now. I can dig it. Okay, cool. I just recently did a show down in New Orleans at the Marshroom. Shout out to the Marshroom and shout out to MHOG, Middle Hand of God. But I did a show with Sean Weiss from the Mighty Ducks.
Man, put your hands together for St. Atlas. Hey.
My biggest inspiration actually is life herself.
Yeah.
You know, I figure that we all go through things with her. And a lot of times we feel that we're alone, but we're not. Like, we're all one. We're all connected. We're all the same people. We tend to just forget about that. So my objective is to help people release themselves from their mental cage. Because a lot of times that's where we get stuck at, is behind our own mind.
Yeah.
And we're so worried about the outside world, but we got to focus internally first. So I want to teach people how to open up to themselves before they try to keep opening up to everybody else.
Oh,
you know?
come on. That's exactly what this is. That's kind of how this goes. This is exactly what this is. Because tell me a joke, the guideline of chasing a dream. And so it's just like, there's no real guideline, but, you know, there's people out there that can at least guide you onto a correct path on, you know, making this more easier for you. Because, man, just the life of an artist or entertainer, it is difficult. It is difficult, and it is time consuming. It is taxing. Mentally, it'll break you down, and especially if you're not prepared for it.
Oh man, and you know what? It's like artists don't understand how much of an impact they actually have. Like artists, we do what we do, and it's like almost so effortless to us, and it's almost like such a release for us that we don't understand that not everybody could do what we could do. Yeah, it's a gift. We were gifted this power, so it's our will to use it.
Right.
You know.
Right. Wow. So, how long have you been writing?
Oh man, I've been writing for all my life. Honestly, I was like that kid in the back of the classroom. Yeah. I was an introvert. I didn't have too many friends. I didn't mess with too many people, but I always had either a sketchbook or a journal, and I'd be writing or I'd be drawing. And it's just because, you know, I needed that release. I had a little bit of a temper, so so I found a healthier outlet to help me release everything that I had pent up.
Yeah. So, the writing aspect. But how long you been getting on stage?
I've been on stage for probably about 5 years. I was doing that pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. And then when COVID hit, a lot of my spots that I used to go to got shut down. Yeah. So I ended up taking some time off. And then I got back into Advent this year. So I've only been there for about 4 months. Okay. Just getting back into the swing of things and meeting amazing people. All the artists there are, come on, like amazing.
I've been talking to a few people online, and I'm like, man, they've been hitting up certain places, and they're like, man, I didn't feel good doing it. And it's like, avant-garde is a bit different when it comes to like a community of people, not even just artists, just people in general. The normies, oh my God. It's just like the first time I went there, it's overwhelming because of the amount of people that's there, and it's just for a poetry show. And it's just like, oh, how is this going to go? Because most of the times when you do deal with certain poetry places that are out here, they don't show the love like Avant does. And like I've hit up a few people, and they're like, yeah, man, it didn't feel good. And I was like, why not? It's like, I don't know if the people are into it. They weren't paying attention.
Yeah, that attention span been going down.
Now Avant-Garde is a great place for what they're doing. And now that they've switched over to Rudyard's too on Tuesdays.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I had the opportunity to perform there this Tuesday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah. It's this at Rudyard's. It's more intimate, and I feel like you really just get to project more and they listening.
The
and
intimacy
like,
is always something.
I really am not on my phone a lot. Like I'll use my notes in my voice memos a lot. Sometimes I'll just have I'll be in my car and I'll just be making my own personal podcast just because I talk to myself a lot. Like, I'm my best friend. Yeah. And I'll have conversations. I'll be like, ooh, girl, yeah, that was crazy. And I'll just start just random. I'll light me up some, get into my mode and start recording. And then just because there comes a point in life where we try for elevation. That's the ultimate goal. Yeah. You know, we want to constantly elevate and grow. But there are times we slip up and we fall off. Yeah. And we look for other people to help us up. But really, the only people that can get us out of where we are is ourselves. Yeah. So when I record these things or I write these things or I have journals after journals after journals, it's for me to remember who I am. It's for me to remember the things that I did. Because if I'm just in my head, I'm not going to remember 5 years ago, oh, I did this when I was feeling like this. You know, I know how to get myself out because I've done it before. So I have journals. I have like 7, 8 journals, and none of them are completely finished. You know, none of the pages are written, but they're finished. Yeah. Like those were chapters of my life. Those were stories and volumes that speak volumes. So that's what I need to turn to when I'm lost, when I'm in a different space, when I've dropped myself and I can't find myself no more. I know I've lost myself when I stop writing. When I start being creative, when I stop being creative, I know there's a problem. And so I need to go find myself. What did I do when I was in that state? Cool, let me do that again. And it's just like any other, it's your Bible. Like it's your own personal Bible, because the stories in the Bible are pretty much things that have happened and are happening to every single one of us. Their stories portrayed from a different perspective, but they're telling you how to get it out of it, right? They're telling you how to get out of it. So basically, you're writing your own personal pieces for yourself, your instructions on how to help yourself out when you get into these problems. You just don't know it.
Usually when I do this by myself, I ask people, I'm like, how them pens moving? Y'all still writing? Y'all still jotting the life down? Because this is me writing, because like most of the times I don't go back and reread things because I hate reading, but I can listen to something. So for me to continue to do this is basically one of the reasons why I did start this, you know, because it didn't start this way like the first. Jason J works. Jason J. Okay, nice. JJ, your boy Jay, as you can see him on Instagram. How you been, man?
Born and raised in Houston. Now I did spend some time away, about 10 years in the military. I know you were a military kid as well.
Yeah, everybody in my family is military.
Really? Everybody but you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of opposite. I'm like the only one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and probably surprised everyone. Like, what are you doing? But it's probably a good thing. But yeah, then came back here. But comedy's new for me as far as performing. Stand up, I started this year. So probably about May, end of April, beginning of May is when I started going like every day. Full force. Every day there was a mic, pretty much. And multiple a night if possible. That was the goal. So kind of made me progress faster than other people because I was able to do that. Yeah. Able to get there more frequently. So,
that's always a good thing.
Yeah, and then meet some people that, to kind of help you out, tell you which places to go and really sharpen yourself.
That's definitely what you need. That's definitely what you need, especially when it comes to a scene that's big like this. Because if you don't really know where to go, you're not really... The progression is there, but it's like I'm just working out in front of a whole bunch of other comics that I already heard this.
Or nobody.
Or no one.
Because when you're new too, like you could spend 3 hours in the club or more waiting to go last in front of the host and nobody else.
It's like, what did this help?
Chairs.
What did this help?
Like, I guess just recite this. I guess that helps for that recitation exercise, but I could have done this in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
I got a better reaction.
That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because back in New Orleans it wasn't the same. Like back in New Orleans, you can get at least 2 mics a night, all week. Usually it's up on Sundays. Sunday is the day to rest. But other than that, like Sundays as well. There was always a mic just to go ahead and go to, and you can you see your progression of where it goes. Like, oh, I hit this one, I hit that one. Oh, this tag works here, that tag works there. And the community of people that you have out there, it wasn't. It's probably grown now, but back then it wasn't so big to where when you had certain friends that you would hang around and be like, oh, this feels like a good bunch. I could fuck with these people. Most of the time it's I know a few people out here, but it's just like, oh no, we don't have the same likes. Like we don't. I don't vibe with you as if I would vibe with other people.
There's no crews.
Yeah,
like I have a little crew. You saw those guys. That's how I found out about that show.
Nice.
One of those guys put me on. So we're kind of an anomaly that. More than just there's ones and twos of people that are buddy, but kind of an anomaly to have 4 or 5 people in this because it's usually kind of cutthroat, kind of
very much.
Everybody feels like they got to keep their cards close.
Yeah, and that's how it is in L.A. I stayed out there for about a year, and it's just like, oh, okay.
I think it's kind of universal.
Yeah.
Seems like everywhere. I mean, I know nothing really. I'm brand new, but it just seems like that's kind of the vibe.
What got you into comedy?
I've always been into comedy. I've always been a huge fan of it. I even started writing a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that I'm working on now, I wrote them all. Long time ago. So it's always been there. It's been issue with trying to find the time and the scheduling with work and all that, financial situations. Didn't just having the balls to do it. It was some
all those things factor.
You have traumatic things in your life, and you go from like I'm the coolest guy in the room to like I'm a piece of shit. And then you gotta build yourself back up. Unfortunately, it took me a little longer than I would have liked, but I made some positive changes in my life, and then now here we are. But I've always been a fan of it. My dad actually did stand up for a little bit.
Really?
It's just kind of in the blood, and we've always been like jokey.
You are like the first person that I've talked to.
Oh, really?
After these, I've been doing this for like 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
This podcast, and you're the first person I talked to that somebody in the family has actually done stand up besides them. Like that's wild. When was his stint of stand up that he did? Was it when you were younger? Did you?
No, I was older. I may have even been out of the house in the military at that point. I can't remember. And because I remember my brother, who's 4 years younger than me, he was older, like teenager at least.
Yeah.
So I was probably like in my 20s maybe.
Yeah.
And so he's had all of his career and everything, and he jumps into it even older than I am now.
Yeah.
So, he started, I don't know how many open mics he did, because I just remember him immediately like booking gigs, like out of town gigs, and it wasn't for a lot of money. It was just enough to pay for the trip out there, and back type of thing. But he recorded I have a CD of his around here somewhere.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, it's crazy.
He really got into it.
Yeah, he was at the Improv. I have a picture of him at the Improv on stage.
What?
It's crazy. Yeah,
that's dope. Yeah, like I just assumed that people in my family were funny, so this is the reason why I do comedy. But nobody that I know had any siblings or parents or anything like that that actually did that actually understand what we go through when we get on the stage. Because that stage is a different monster. It's a bit challenging.
That's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, getting on. Did somebody like give you a boost to get up on stage, or you was just like, because you said it took you a minute.
Well, yeah, it did. I had tried a few times, or like I said, I had material for a while, so there was a couple times I'd get to the club and like lose confidence at the last minute, or like, and it was because I would tell my jokes to like a friend.
Yeah.
And my best friends are like the worst. Like, so I'd be like, "Hey, let me run this by you," and they'd just be like. I'm like, your silence is super encouraging. I think I'm gonna go back to the drawing board.
In a minute since she has been back. Good old DDT.
I may be old, but not good. What's happening? I'm thankful for where I started. I'm glad that my first being thrown into the comedy water was Dallas. Yeah. Because it's like right in between that world. It's like right there. It exists in this weird liminal space right before LA. Because a lot of Dallas comedians have gone to LA and have done very well.
Yeah.
Because I think it trains you for that type. Because it's like that. You have to kind of know somebody. Somebody has to like you. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in the right place at the right time. Yeah. It's very like, once you get in, you made, and everybody just, they don't. It's better than what it was before. I'm thinking from what I've seen. But it was really we on the same rotation of people all the time at the Improv, at Hyenas. We not giving you a shot because we don't like you. You're not one of our homies.
Shit.
You don't kiss our ass enough. And of course, it's never said like that, but it's heavily implied.
Yeah.
And you can read the room. You can understand the energy around you and, you know, check the vibe. And I realized that wasn't me. And that's when I said, you know what? I'm not going to LA ever.
Yeah.
I'm never fucking going to LA.
Yeah.
Because I hate this. Even on such a low level as this.
Disgusting.
Even as a microcosm, this feels gross.
That is shit, yeah.
So, you know, and then the way the women at the clubs are treated, black folks are treated at the clubs, it's just, I'm straight.
I've heard that down here they don't do any local comics for the improv.
They're doing better. Like, I've seen Zod and, you know, Greg, like last night, the other night, Greg Barron's. Like, I've seen, you know, local comedians start to get on, but improv was kind of, from what I could tell, I wasn't here before the pandemic. I moved here December 2019. So it seemed like before the pandemic, improv was more, I guess, active a little bit in the comedy community. But since then, it's been a, you know,
wishy-washy.
Right. Kind of like maybe trying to get back. But I like I said, I really can't say I wasn't here. But I remember before they had an open mic. They didn't have an open mic after the pandemic. I don't think they have one still.
Yeah, I've heard about the open mic. But
yeah, so it's just kind of like, I don't know. But improv is an institution in of itself.
Yeah.
So they don't need local comedy.
No.
To be quite honest.
Right.
They don't.
They can always get headliners and stuff in.
It's the improv. We don't need you niggas. Chill.
It makes me think, like, where should I be to excel? Like, that's one of the things I constantly think, because New Orleans is a place, like, if you want to get good real fast, that's a place that, well, I don't know about now. They letting their fucking inmates run their asylum right now, and it's just like, this ain't what New Orleans comedy is. This is like, you ain't gonna get the cream of the crop here. But I love what you're doing. Keep it going.
Right.
Yeah, I still don't fuck with you, but you know, do your thing.
Yeah.
But you're not about to get the best of comedians out there. You got a few of them. But and I'm like, fuck. You know, it's like I keep missing the mark, you know, that lucky mark to where it's like, oh, I should have been here at this point. Like, maybe I could be somewhere else, but I'm always saying to myself, things take time, so.
It does. Yeah. Like, I remember I was watching, I follow David Arnold on Instagram. I do not follow a lot of comedians on anything, but I definitely follow David Arnold because I love him. And I think he's a real funny dude, and he has, like, really good insights about comedy. And I think the way he approaches comedy is very organic and real, and it comes from a genuine place, but also a very high-minded place. And you know, he was on a podcast with another dude. I forget who it was. Was it Greg Fitzsimmons? I forget who it was. Anyway, so he was talking about how, you know, this is my first Netflix special. This is my first like special, and I've been doing comedy 30 years. And he was talking about in LA how people have these birthday shows like these. And he said that's the thing. That's why it takes so long, because I'm not a come look at me person. I'm not the type of person that's willing to draw attention to myself. Yeah. Like, it's my birthday. I'm having a comedy show. Come celebrate me. Come look at me. Like, it's that look at me thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, it will take you longer.
Yeah.
You have to have that everybody come look at me thing. And you have to do it shamelessly.
And that's I don't wanna.
You gotta be, you know, on the TikToks and the Instagram. You gotta be doing it. You gotta be doing it. You know what I'm saying? You have to be doing the birthday shows. You have to take pictures with comedians that you barely know, but act like, oh yeah, that's Big Bro.
Yeah.
Deion Cole, nigga, that's Big Bro. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the wisdom.
Sort of clout.
Thanks for the wisdom. Like, you know, with the extra, you know, heavy-handed pose underneath it. So that's what you have to do.
I don't.
If you want to get it quick. But if you're there for the slow grind and the slow burn, you know, David Arnold, he had people that he came up with that knew he was a good writer, so he got a lot of writing gigs, and they took him on tour, and he started, you know, headlining and stuff himself. So, you know, it can be a slow burn, but we all have our own lane to find, and you have to be okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we all have to be okay with it.
I keep telling myself I'm not going to conform to what the masses want, and I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay with that. But I understand if I don't want to feel the way I feel every day when I get up thinking about comedy, that it's going to be a slower process if I don't fucking, you know, get to the bullshit.
Right. And it's the thing you got to reconcile with yourself. You have to be willing to be honest with yourself about who you are and what you are and what you're willing to do for this shit. It really is that simple. Like, you can't lie to yourself and say, like, if you would have stuck it out in LA and just stayed there, despite knowing better, like, I need to get the fuck out of here. That would have just held you back even longer.
Yeah.
That would have just held you right in that spot until you got into the fact, like, this place not for me. Or you'd have just become a crazy bitter person. You know that crazy comedian that's just always, I don't understand why I don't get booked. Nigga, you not funny. You fucking suck, dog. And your personality is fucking weird. You always be here on the weird shit, talking shit about everybody, about how this person ain't shit and that person ain't shit and you deserve that. And I heard she did this to get booked. That's why, because you that weird motherfucker with the weird energy. Come on.
Yeah.
That's what you turn into.
Yeah.
When you stay too long somewhere where you don't belong.
I hate to see that. And you see that often.
Too often.
And then you got people explaining themselves on stage. I'm just going to continue to make you feel,
Come on now.
It's like, well, you don't have to. You can make people laugh and feel good about this.
You could try that.
Why demoralize the crowd like this? It's
or
like,
you could go where you're wanted and get this off your back. Get this monkey off your back, man. You don't need this low vibe on you. It's lowering your vibe because you won't accept what's for you and what ain't for you.
I've ran into this person that I didn't think I would see ever again, and if I did, I'd be like, man, I don't fuck with this dude.
I love those.
But I wind up running into him again, and it's just like,
what was the LA person?
No, this person from here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, this dude's on some fuckery and some fake shit. Like, I've noticed this the first time, and energy is off and weird. But I didn't.
It's raining, I think.
Yeah, I think
is it
it's
gonna get worse?
drizzle. I hope it doesn't. It's feeling good finally. But yeah, I'm like, I don't appreciate this nigga's vibe or his attitude when it comes to certain things, and I also think that he's a joke thief. But that's neither here nor there. And I wound up being around this motherfucker another time, and I'm like.
You don't have to tell me off mic because I need the name. And I feel like I know. But
yeah, and I'm like, oh, you are this nigga. This is like, why are you this person? Like, I this is my second chance to actually maybe get to know you better and maybe like you. But no, I can't because you still this nigga that I saw that gave off the negative racist type, but I just want to be cool type of energy, and I'm like, nah, I don't fucks with this. I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character too.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder why. Like, why you like this? You don't have to be.
You don't have to be. You choose it. You wake up every day. You choose this. You choose this.
It's weird, and it makes me very upset.
But that's the thing about another thing about comedy. And I ain't no comedy expert. I just been here for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I just been doing this for a while, and just from my observation, part of the problem is we don't know how to treat people with a long handle spoon all the time. We don't know how to keep people at arm's length without making like some declarative statement about it. You don't have to make it a thing. You can just not fuck with somebody, and it don't have to be said.
Right.
It don't have to be some big Facebook argument. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to blow up on Instagram and shit. It doesn't have to be all that. All you can do is just say, you know what? You're not for me, and I'm gonna just keep my distance.
Right.
It ain't gonna be no funny acting shit when I see you. I just don't fuck with you.
And I was waiting. I was like, I know this deep thinker. She gets it in.
Ooh.
Beauty the Beast.
Hi. Thank you for having me. But I just feel like with that, because see, I'm not really much, I guess you could say, social media expert, but I just do what fits me, like what I can do. People gonna see it, they're not gonna see it.
Yeah.
People just want to see what the fuck you doing.
Right.
People just want to see if you fucking falling on your ass.
Niggas be nosy.
Or so it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you something to watch, but I'm also the same person that I am on social media off.
Right.
So that's, if I can continue to relate that message, no matter what I'm posting, what I'm doing on social media, then I made it. I'm not no fake ass, Instagram Barbie.
That's like, exactly what I want to give out.
Right. I'm not. No.
But some people believe like that's the world today. Like you have to be big on social media to make it as an artist, and that's not really. I don't believe in that. No, because it takes footwork.
Yes,
it takes footwork. Like you got to get out here and grind in these streets.
That's how I've been looking at it. That's how I've been trying to approach the situation. Like old school days, before we had all this. Like people still made it big before all this was here. It just makes it like an easy lure. Basically, it's like, ooh, look at all these people doing this. Like the gamble, you know, come over to the casino and throw these dice and see if you can make it big. You know, and not everybody makes it big first few throws. And it's like, all right, you know, you might get a little taste. That just keeps you there, though.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't want to fall for.
That's another thing when you're an artist. And I learned this within my first year. When you are fresh out and you are good, people gonna gravitate to you.
Yeah.
They're gonna gravitate to you, and you need to decipher what works for you. Like I don't do every show. I don't do I strategically do shows.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling people.
I strategically do shows because I need to do what's for me. Not every spot is for you.
You sound exactly like me. I said this exact
You don't
words.
have to hit everything in order to be a comedian. You don't have to hit, I don't have to hit every stage in order to be a poet. Unfortunately, due to my schedule and what I have going on, I've never touched a one poetry stage. But people believe that if you don't touch a certain stage, then you're not a poet. Bullshit. I didn't hit many stages. I didn't touch things that within my first year, veterans took 2-3 years to do. So just do what's for you, and don't feel like you got to do everything in order to be. Don't try to like look at like the hottest fucking comedian right now who. Yeah. Let's just say Kevin Hart. If he touched the Comedy Lounge, and you didn't touch the Comedy Lounge. So that means you're not a comedian, right? That means you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Right. That just means that location ain't for you, right? So that's just really what I'm on. Like I'm doing what's for me, my location, my like moving strategically for Beauty the Beast. Yeah, period.
Yeah. Because I've been looking at this the same as well. I'm like, yo, I can't. I got too much like riding on this. I can't keep just going different places thinking that this is going to be lucrative to what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to build an empire from this. And the little knickknacks is just kind of like, I mean, it's nice to practice places, but sometimes when the practice isn't beneficial, it's like, what are you doing then? You know, I've gotten to a point where it's like, all right, we can't keep playing with this now. Like, it needs to be serious. And so, like, I'm one of those people, I thought that, me going to, just like my thoughts of everything that I've been doing, like thought that me going to California is gonna get me seen or something like that, or me getting on the Warren Poetry stage is gonna get me seen. Yeah. And you come and you say that I haven't even touched one of those stages, but boom, I've been, and it's like shit. Yeah. In my head, I'm always thinking like, am I too much, or is it that I always. In my head, it feels as if like what I do might outshine what other people might be bringing. So like,
that has nothing to do with you. If you a fucking star, then be the fucking star. You're gonna shine regardless. So that, I think with that, it's really like you don't want to be you don't want to come off as cocky. You don't want it to come off as you're arrogant. You don't want it to come off as that. But if a person knows you and knows who you are, then do you. If you know that's not in your heart, then do you. They're going to talk about you regardless. So if you were meant to shine in a room, then shine in a room. I'm 9 times out of 10, you doing less than the person that believes they are the shit. So shine. Shine.
Yeah.
I just really think that's what that is, is just knowing who you are. Because what I realized is Beauty the Beast is an artist. But I'm also a person outside of that. Right. Beauty the Beast is a brand. So I have to connect who I am outside of Beauty the Beast with that same person that I'm living every day. Yeah. So they can see I'm still a person. Like I'm more than just
a poet. I'm more. I eat shit and sleep just like you do,
life as well,
right? Like, so that's just how I feel, because they believe like when you're an artist, you have to do certain things, like you can't be in certain places. Bullshit. I like the ratchet, the ratchet clubs. I like the ratchet shit,
Thinking this is some overnight shit.
Yeah,
this ain't overnight. I've been here.
This is just something I'm good at.
Right.
That called me to be on stages, that called me to sell tickets, that caused me to, be in the light. But you probably still gonna see me at a hole in the wall, shooting pool, or, twerking ass. Like
right.
I'm still
This
the
is
same
still
person.
me.
Yeah. Like I just think that's for me. That's what I'm doing. Like, not caring about what other people have to say about me. Yeah.
I go places, and I think that I definitely think the same, especially because I know I'm different, and I've always been different.
Okay.
But like, I let my work stand out for who I am, and
Period.
that difference makes a hell of a lot on me. Like, I feel better about it, because I'm like, I know I don't.
Red Lion, the poet, or Charles, however you want to go by.
Hey man, as long as you don't call me out my name, we good.
Okay, cool, man.
Oh boy, I think the honest truth, at least for me, is the poem's never truly done per se, because the poem is an extension of who I am.
Yeah.
And since I'm always growing.
Right.
Like, I'm always, like, the particular piece of poetry, even though it may have a conclusive, like, written portion of it or a recording portion of it.
Yeah.
If my ideology of something changes.
Yeah.
Then, at least for me, I don't feel comfortable saying a poem that I don't fully believe. Oh. So if I don't believe it, you know what I'm saying, why would I spit it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't, like, even if the poem is like really dope or really good and everybody likes to hear it. Now I could, as a writer, go back and revise it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To make it like, okay, I believe it again, but I remember that's happened to me like maybe twice. And I remember I wrote a poem like years ago, and my ideology changed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, I don't believe this anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had to let it go. And it was a good poem. It was one of my best well-written poems, and I'm just like, I know it's going to hit every time, but I'm like, I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to be like, well, either I can throw it away, which I had to, because so much of it was just not who I am now. You know what I'm saying? And I've changed. So, like, I never want to, I know we always like to separate the artist from the artwork, or there's this idea that you separate the artist from the artwork. And I think that's true to an extent.
Yeah.
But for poets, it's different, because
we're a lot more connected.
Yeah, man. Like, you can't, it's almost impossible to do a poem and not believe in what you're doing, like unless you're like a really great actor. But even in acting, there's a level of belief that you have to have in your acting. I remember I was watching the first Black Panther, right? And then you see Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, and you're looking at this villain, you're listening to him, and you're like, you know what? I believe that. I can. Yeah. You know what? You're making sense. Yeah. And then I watched the new Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and then I'm looking at Namor, and I'm just like, you know what? You sure right.
Who is right?
You know what I'm saying?
I fucks with you. Okay, sir.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, well-written villains, to me, like, my favorite villains are the villains that are borderline heroic, borderline, like, they really think about humanity. Like, Thanos makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Thanos
I was like, I feel you, sir, but man, what you gotta do to get what you want?
Yeah,
Jesus, but okay,
right,
more power to you.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same with poetry. Like, even if I'm going the wrong direction, right?
Yeah.
I'm willing to go in the wrong direction, and then, you know what I'm saying, have my heart changed. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't believe in what I'm saying, then I'm lying to you.
Yeah.
And I can't lie to you.
Yeah, when I write, there's so many things that I think about, and then that's one of the things that I do think about. Like if I write something down and it just comes out because I'm rhyming, and I'm like, no. That I don't. Do I feel this way for real, or am I just putting this down because that was a clever line?
Yeah.
And I'm like, sometimes I gotta eat them clever lines and be like, no, let's be true to ourselves.
Be a little tough too.
Yeah. Oh, so tough.
Because I'll be like, damn, that was good.
Yeah, that was good. Like I'll be having to look up certain things, be like, no, Kyle, you can't say that because that don't mean that. Even though it sound like it's supposed to, it don't mean that at all. And if somebody fact checks your ass, you're gonna be looking dumb.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I feel that. Yeah, so there's so much that you have to actually, like, when it comes to writing, there's so much that you have to take in, considering, just because, like, when I go back and I go look at some things and I reread and I go over it and I'm like, okay, I like where this is going. Sometimes I get confused on where I'm trying to go, and it, sometimes I have to turn the boat back around because I'm veering off a little bit too much. But I've always liked to. I noticed that when I do write, my writings have came to a point to where, and when I am coming to an end, it has like a meaning, or like a lesson, and something like that. I'm not trying to teach nobody. This just kind of how it comes out, or how I feel on the inside. Like there's certain things that I talk about, that the poems that I do write, I want to put visually, just so people can see the words visually themselves, not actually like subtitled, but like, as I speak these words, this is what's going on in the video as well. So I know for me, when I am writing, that's one of the things that I do think about, is like, how does this, because every time I'm writing that, it's a whole movie that plays in my head. So for me to recite, that's kind of how I'm able to memorize, basically by the visual pictures that I have in my head for those certain things. How does your memory, like, what keeps your, since you do theater as well from time to time, like how do you go about memorizing?
Oh man, listen,
your pieces are long.
They're not long.
Yeah, they got some length on them.
Man, listen, let me tell you something. I remember the first piece of poetry I wrote, it was 12 minutes long.
Oh my goodness.
That was the very first piece of poetry I ever wrote, was 12 minutes. Took me forever. Took me forever to memorize it. I've gotten to the point now where my poems are like, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes at the most.
Ooh.
At the most 5. You know what I'm saying? But like I say in that 3-4 minute time frame now.
Yeah.
So that's where most of my poems are at now. Memorization, it's tough. It's tough. I have yet to crack the code on how to effectively memorize any poems. I hold on to this quote that Maya Angelou had, right? So Maya Angelou says that people may not remember what you said to them, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Ooh. So for me, like, I think about that in terms of memorization all the time, because a lot of times I don't remember the words whenever I'm actively trying to memorize them, but I remember how I feel in the moment. So that feeling or that emotion acts as a muscle memory. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, even when I'm like going back over it and I'm reciting it just purely off of the emotion, sometimes my words change too. And I'm just like, this feels more natural. So now I have to change the word.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've done that. I have slashes, so many slashes, to where it's like either you can say this or you can say it this way. And there's certain spots where I'm like, it sounds so much better to say it this way. I'm gonna leave this slash here just because, like, this is what it used to be, but this is how I'm gonna say it forever now.
Yeah.
And like, there's certain, like, it ain't easy being a black man. That one, I have a certain portion of that towards the end, to where it's just like, all right, don't cry.
We just gonna get into it, goddammit. I got comedian Keisha Hunt on this motherfucker. Man. Good to see you, Keisha. Good to see you.
I was 13.
Yeah.
I knew, well, even before, when I was 6, let me take it back. When I was 6, I knew I was an entertainer.
Okay, right.
I knew I wanted to entertain the people.
That's what your parents was telling you and shit. It was like, she always doing.
I'm gonna get you one-way ticket to Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's what my mama would tell me. So my sister, she put me on like a Dob hat at the time. Run DMC, I'm 6.
Yeah.
Run DMC was, no rapper can rap, you know they thing.
Yeah.
So my brother had a Dob hat and I had his trench coat on. It looked like a black wedding train because I'm only 2 feet tall. And he put his big thick gold chain around me and I started rapping.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving. I was the kid that they put in front of the family to just do your thing, baby. You know?
Yeah.
And so I was that kid. And so I started rapping. I still remember that rap. I was walking down the street with my jam box. I met this little boy named Goldilocks. He asked me the kind of car I was driving in. I said a BMW Mercedes Benz. Now we know. Wait. That don't make no sense. Does it? A BMW Mercedes. That's what I was driving. I had the first one.
He had a BMW in the front, Mercedes Benz in the back.
And he was my homeboy named Goldilocks.
Was he white?
I don't know. In my mind, he was my homeboy named Goldilocks. But that was, hey, and the family threw money at me, and I was like, oh, I can make money.
I can make money.
Then after that, I started a band called Backyard Gang. With buckets and...
Is this still at the age of 6?
No, I think I'm 10 now. I think I'm 10. Okay. Right about 8 or 9, 10.
Yeah.
And you know the air conditioned vents for a window unit. I had that as my snare. I had 2 buckets, you know, the paint buckets.
Right.
And so I had Backyard Gang. That was the song. And so I had Backyard Gang. Then I graduated from that into a full-time rapper.
Yeah.
Like I was serious with it.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to jump into ESG's limousine. It was in 1994. 97.9 The Box used to do the Box birthday bash.
97.9 The Box been around for a very long time.
Yeah, but since I was 12. That was 1992. And I remember it because that's the same year Jason's Lyrics came out.
I love Houston history. Please keep going.
And so, because at the time, we only had Magic 102.1. I used to call it 1021. Magic 102.1.
I love it.
And so that's what they had. They wanted to do something for the youth. So that's when 97.9 The Box came in 92, and they started doing these Box birthday bashes.
Yeah.
And to celebrate the radio station in 1994, Swinging and Banging with ESG came out.
Okay.
And that was the song, but I could rap.
Right.
Like, I just knew that's what I was gonna do. Like, I was a thug till I died. Puffing on that fry, nigga getting high. Like that. Didn't know what fry was. Had no clue, but I knew I could rap. Yeah. And so I saw, after the Box birthday bash, I knew I didn't pay for no ticket. I was small. All I would do was duck down and weave my way through the crowd. And my sister-in-law was like, if you act like you're supposed to be there, won't nobody question if you're supposed to be there. And I was all in the VIP. Nobody said nothing to me. Missy Elliott was on the concert.
What?
Notorious B.I.G. was there. Mary J. Blige was there. Total was there. I forget the guy's name that sing Cheers to You.
Oh, shit.
I don't know their name, but they was missing them.
Yeah.
They was Timberland's group. But I remember pulling on...
That was when he was with Magoo, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Magoo was there too. All of them was there. 112 was there.
Whoa.
ESG was there. This was like
Hey, you done snuck your way in.
I'm at the concert, just concerting. And so I was trying to... I'm a rapper just trying to make it. I done pulled on Notorious B.I.G. ankle. He done kicked me. Like, get this baby off of me. Get this kid off of me. And then Missy Elliott, she hee-hee-haw. And she had the blunt in her hand, and she did me like, you know, she passed it to me, and then she psyched me with the blunt. Because I'm a kid.
I don't know you, right.
You know, I'm a kid. She's like, psych. I was like, oh, man. But I smoked weed at 13, 14. Yeah. And so when we was leaving, I saw ESG and them had their limousine windows down. And I started running on the side of the limo and hopped in the window. I jumped. I wonder if he remember this. I hopped. This is a true story. Yeah. I hopped in the window. And they was like, man, stop the limo. We got a baby in here. What is this baby doing here? I said, I can rap. I said, I can rap. PhD. And he was like, come on, baby, say something. And then I started doing, I'm a thug till I die, puffing on that weed, nigga getting high, sipping on that syrup, about to choke, roll that blunt so you can smoke. He let me do my whole rap. He was like, you got something, but you got to get up out of here. Cause we don't mess with the babies. I was 14, but I look 9. Cause I'm vertically challenged like a mother. You know.
Yeah, I know. We about the same size.
You the same. You a little bit taller than me. That's that man edge. But I don't know how you gonna get me to shut up now. And so,
I love it, don't you?
I'm on the road. You asked me one question.
That's it. That's where it take you.
You say,
that's how it happened.
You say, was it always comedy? And I said, no. And here we go. And so, let me get. I'm almost to the comedy. I'm almost to the
Keep
comedy.
going.
And so,
origin stories.
Jumping in the limo. How about the limo?
Get out. We can't take babies.
We can't take babies. And so I'm like, okay. When I was 16, it was this rap group called 4 Deep. More Houston history. I remember doing a video shoot with them at this club at a pool hall, and they had me like, man, you know how they had every female rapper looking in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
All black with shades on.
Yeah.
And I was 16.
Mysterious.
Like boss. You know, you gotta let a hoe
like,
be a hoe.
Why y'all gotta be so hard,
Right.
though? It's like, can we just get some sexy bars? Like,
Right.
Jesus Christ.
But I had that bell-bottom woman suit on that Queen Latifah wear in Living Single. Them business suits she would wear. That was my rap outfit.
It was a very loose business suit she would wear.
Yes.
Very comfortable, flowing looking.
With sneakers.
Yeah.
Or you
because
remember
she was
the boots?
business but savvy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the we know she gay, but we don't want to say it.
We don't want to say nothing.
Yeah, so that was the image we had.
Just let her run shit. She a boss.
Exactly. So I had my Queen Latifah on. And then I don't know what made me this would happen. I'm still rapping. I'm rapping. And then I started acting when I got to high school, when I got to middle school. And it really changed.
Yeah.
I got bit by the acting bug.
That's how it happened.
Right, in middle school. Here come comedy. It's almost there. It's almost there. And so I got bit. But what really did it for me, I knew I wanted to do comedy when I saw Martin Lawrence and Talking Dirty After Dark. And I could not stop
that's specific.
saying. I could not stop saying Pussy Patrol, Pussy Patrol. Woo. You know? So I would walk in the hall. I got in trouble for that. Like, I was like, man, I'm getting in trouble for reciting Martin Lawrence. And then he came out with You So Crazy.
Yeah.
And I knew it word. Hello, darky. That was like, I couldn't stop. I knew that the whole thing. And I was like, I want to be him.
You know how fun this is to hear that? Because all comics are like superheroes, and I put it in the sense like everybody has their Spider-Man origin story. Yeah. And basically your Martin Lawrence, that portion right there is you're being bit. That is your catalyst right there. Because for me, my catalyst was after somebody said, usually it's somebody like, hey man, you should probably do comedy, or hey man, you should be on the stage somewhere. Hey, you gonna be an entertainer. When I was in school, I was so bad that the teacher put me up in front of the class and was like, be funny. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I'm just disruptive. Like, why you gonna put me up? Like, I was so bad. They brought me to another class and was like, boom, do what you do. I'm like, what do you mean? I thought I was just disruptive. Like, you were putting me, I'm afraid right now. Like I don't know what this means. And she's like, be funny. So I mocked her and I pretended to be Urkel for about good 5 minutes. And I was like, this feels right, but it also feels like you shouldn't do this to a child. You know, why the fuck would you do this? And my guy, the person that like it really brought comedy to my eyes, because I didn't think about comedy until somebody said, hey, you should probably be on stage doing comedy. I was like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. And when I saw Dane Cook was my catalyst. Like, man. So be the way I'm descriptive and how I like to describe things and the act outs, that is purely because of Dane Cook, just because me seeing him.
Dane Cook, well, I love Dane Cook. He really started the wave we're on now. Yeah. Andrew Dice Clay was kind of like a peeking to that. but
didn't have the he didn't have the resources like that.
He didn't have the resources,
yeah.
but he had the cult following from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful to see that. You know, once I discovered comedy, I was discovering it.
Right.
You know, and Dane Cook, he had that thing. He was that social media. He was that I'm gonna pull a fan base out of
thin air.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
He did. He still is. Like,
yeah.
I love Dane Cook. But man, yes, that's where it started with Martin Lawrence and watching that, and then I knew I wanted to do comedy. I just didn't know what form I was gonna do it. I didn't know if I was gonna just be a funny actress or if I was gonna do stand up. But I knew I loved to see people's faces after I'd done something.
Right.
You know, I just knew
the reactions.
I just knew I loved that. So my theater teacher in high school, I remember auditioning for theater as a freshman, and when I went to look at the board to see if I even made it, right? The junior goes, "Oh, Keisha, I didn't see you on JV. You didn't make it." I said, "Oh man, well, let me just check the varsity one just because." Yeah. And my name was on there. I was like, there you have it. This is meant to be.
She just looked on JV. She didn't look on both sides.
She just knew I wasn't in there. But my theater teacher, he introduced. I had never watched Saturday Night Live before. I only knew In Living Color.
Right.
I didn't know nothing about Saturday Night Live until I got to high school, and I graduated in '99. But when I got to high school, he showed me Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon doing the Spartans.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be on that show. Yeah. He said, "You can do this." I said, "I can do that."
Come on.
And so then when I graduated, there was an audition for a play, and another comedian, she was the lead in the play, and there was downtime, and I was just being myself. And she was like, "You're funny. You should come to my open mic." I said, "I'll just come watch and see how it is. I'm 18.
Yeah.
And she goes, 2002. This is 99. We'll say it. Yeah, I'll get to it. And she goes, "You should come to my open mic." And I'm like, "I'm gonna just go watch." And so I'm sitting at the bar. They go, "You want a drink?" And I said, "Yeah." I had never had an alcoholic beverage in my life. Really? This is my first alcoholic beverage. My first time going to a comedy show. I had a Maduri sour. Right. I said, "Give me something sweet and colorful." And she couldn't remember my name. She says, "Oh, this baby is funny. We about to bring, y'all clap for Lil Bit."
Little bit.
Lil Bit. And I'm looking around like, who is that? She said, "You." And so,
oh, no.
And I did comedy from when I was 19. I can't remember. I was 19, December of 99 to February of 2000. And then I stopped. And I came back because Jennifer Germany, another comedian here in Houston, she called me to come back, and I ain't never left.
Never left.
I never left.
Come on.
And so that's where, and I just was like, oh my God. And so once I got into it in 2002 in July, hey, this is my anniversary month.
Yeah.
This my
Come on.
And then July.
Doing big things. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so I met Blame the Comic. He started the same day I did in 2002. And we just was rocking and rolling. We started doing festivals like in a couple of months.
Shout out to Blame as well. That
Shout
nigga,
out
y'all,
to man.
Y'all a killer fucking duo. Oh my God.